Guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today we have a special treat. We get an opportunity to talk about how to make money in your sleep. We're going to discuss business automation, and this is a little secret that a lot of people don't know. And I want to ask everybody in the chat. I don't know if you know this or not. Give me a yes or no if you all knew this. But did you know that most millionaires and billionaires even did you know that they do not work as hard as you, right? I hope you know that, right? That most of them simply know how to work smarter, and whatever that means, right? And a lot of that working smarter comes down to things like automation. And so as you guys come into the chat, our special guest today, his name is Chris Davis. Chris is the founder and CEO of Automation Bridge. He is he is arguably the leading expert on the planet when it comes to business automation. And if he's not number one, he's definitely like top 5, top 10. So whether he's Michael Jordan or not, that might be debatable. But we know that he's at least Charles Barkley, at least Patrick Ewing, at least LeBron. So how you doing today, man?
Man, boys, it's great to be here. And I will argue that point. I will argue the top two. There's one more that I may put above me, and that's my mentor. So respect to him. So
I like that. Well, you got to respect anybody that shows respect. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yes. All right. So let's kind of start. First of all, I want everybody to know on the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black economics and Black wealth building every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, under one simple condition. The condition is that you must be Black first. Black first means that we put our community at the top of our priority list so we can solve our own problems and fix our own stuff. B1 also means that we believe Black kids can be number one when it comes to wealth building and economics within the next 50 years. B1 also means we understand we must be one in order to be successful. That means working together and finding common ground. If you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. Hello, Vicky Wilkins and Sade Burrell. And DDS, I see DDS. DDS is always here. That's a great moderator. So let me ask you about you, Chris.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Many people may not have even known Black people were up there if it wasn't for George Floyd, because that's what I got whenever I would go to another state and somebody would ask, I'll say, I'm from Minnesota. They'd be like, there's Black people up there? So now I believe it's widely known. And I'll tell you what, boys, I did not start out anywhere close to where I am now, nor did I even know this existed, nor did I even have the desire to aim for it. I think I was pushed down a traditional path like many other African Americans growing up with their parents that hadn't matriculated through college and just wanting their child to do better than them. So that was the goal. Go to college. I had one uncle that had went to Howard, and I was like, it was like a mythical figure. I would see my uncle maybe 2 or 3 times a year and be like, wow, what is the great land of college like? Uncle, tell me about the ways, right? So it became like this big achievement, man. And I'm one of three kids, and I'm the youngest. So I was the first to break through and go to college. And I went to college at Kansas State University to become an electrical engineer, just because I was trying to figure out something. I was good at math. So it was like, here, try engineering. And that landed me at a job with Lockheed Martin. And that was the start of my professional career that would have quite a few turns and dips in it as well. So.
Okay. All right. Everybody just came in. I'm talking to Chris Davis. He's the CEO and founder of Automation Bridge. And we're talking about how people make money in their sleep. But first, as we move forward, hit the thumbs up button as you come in and share this video with anybody that any of your broke friends, any of your friends that are overworking themselves, working themselves into the ground that don't understand what's going on in the 21st century. Send this over to them, because I tell you, Chris, it's an interesting thing. In America, there's a lot of inequality, and the inequality was exacerbated and really stretched during the pandemic because you have people that were really getting hit hard. And then you have people that made more money than they've ever made in their life.
Absolutely.
And the reason that people like you are important is because a lot of the reason for that gap is technology, the understanding of technology, things like automation, stuff like that. And so can you tell me from your perspective as one of the world's leading experts in business automation, what did you see happening during the pandemic that that really kind of opened your eyes as far as people making money and how things were kind of changing?
Position was everything, boys. Position was everything. I saw those in position being able to immediately capitalize. So there were some that had no issue at all generating more revenue. In fact, I met a lot of businesses that was like, hey, we need to turn the faucet off. We've got too many leads coming in, right? And then you had the people who were not in position that were struggling to make the adjustment. They're sending out the alarm, calling on what I call the automation ambulance. Hey, come save my business. Help me. The signs that I should have been online, the signs that I should have really transitioned earlier that I ignored, now they're coming back. And now it's too late for me to quickly shift, fix my business for me. Those were the two main themes. I was not surrounded by a lot of people who were losing in the pandemic. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. I'm sympathetic to it because I know it happened. But even myself, I saw an influx because what COVID did is it forced everybody online. It forced the social distancing. The only way to connect was via technology. So subsequently, the only way to buy was via technology. So those who had a presence to be able to easily capitalize and put themselves in front of people in that manner are the ones that won. You still needed to know what you were doing. If I were to go a level into the people who were able to capitalize on technology, that level in would say there were a lot of people that were only able to capitalize, I would say 10%, boys, of what they really could have capitalized on because there were so many holes in their system that they didn't know how to plug in. So maybe they could have made 10 million, they made 1 million. Maybe they could have made 1 million and they made 300,000. Either way, they still won. But being the systems person that I am, I would look and be like, you could have done more you could have made more without actually having to do more. So those were some of the main themes that I've seen. And now as we sit here on, I don't know where we're at in the pandemic, on the tail end, on the front end of another, like we're somewhere in here. It's common knowledge now. Everybody's trying to leverage the internet and the technology available in their marketing and sales to generate sales around the clock that doesn't require them to clock in or go to an office and suit up every day.
Well, one of the things that I found, man, was that it's really interesting. For many years when we first started, Boyce Watkins Enterprises and the Black Business School is a part of that. We also have the film division, stuff like that. We always felt almost like an inferiority complex a little bit because of the fact that we didn't have as much of a physical presence. When a lot of people, I don't talk about this much, but when we started our business, Lawrence and I, my brother, we couldn't get any funding or anything, and when you're really solving real problems for Black people, you're not gonna get money from corporations and the government, stuff like that. They only kind of feed into things that they believe in, right? Which we know that those things don't work. And so we did it by ourselves. We used our own money to kind of bootstrap everything. And we dug deep into technology because we said, okay, technology looks like a place where if you're smart enough, you can have the same impact as the big corporations with a much smaller budget, right? So we had to really shoestring everything and kind of piece it together and make it work. So we're moving along and it's working, right? We're getting our message out all around the world, doing all kinds of great things, whatever. But we always felt like, okay, so the next step is we need to have some physical buildings and presence and stuff like that. And we still want to do that. But we always felt like we were behind, like we're not legitimate compared to, the places like the HBCUs, for example. They have all these big buildings and everything else. And then the pandemic happened, right? So suddenly in the pandemic, everybody's trying to do what we have been doing for the last 8 years. Everybody was trying to learn how, and it was like, wow, this is great. Like we're already on Zoom. Everybody else is getting on Zoom. We were there when they got there. Everybody else is trying to figure out automation. Oh, we've been on that. And so it was real interesting to watch the world just flip on his head, where everything became digital all of a sudden. And it was like, oh, we got the lead over here. This is pretty cool. So that transition, and I know for us it wasn't that difficult, but I also noticed that there were so many people, and I felt so bad for them. Because they really were being left behind. And I also felt bad when things like the PPP loans came out and we were able to apply because our accounting was tight. You know what I mean? Like we had our whole
Yeah.
system in place, and there were a lot of business owners that didn't know where to go, what to sign up for, and they were just throwing that money out there. I mean, there were so many companies that were picking up millions and millions of dollars. I mean, it was really hugely unjust. I really hated it, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
You still there?
Hey, can you guys hear me? Give me a yes in the chat if you can still hear me, because it looks like I might have went out.
It's I don't know if it's choppy on your end, but it looks like you.
It looks like we got some Wi-Fi issues.
Okay, I can hear you now, Boyce.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? I can hear you now.
Uh-oh. You can hear me.
Yeah,
Who's frozen?
I can hear you.
Is it me or Chris? Which one frozen? Because I want to see whose Wi-Fi is going bad. I think it might be mine. I think it might be mine. Well, if I disappear and you're still in there, just keep talking as if I'm coming back. Sorry, man. Sorry. Can you everybody let us know if we're coming through okay or not. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what was happening. The Wi-Fi just comes out of the sky, and nobody knows what's working and what's not. But did you get a chance to catch the tail end of what I was saying?
Right when you transitioned to tell us about it, that's when it froze up. But I got all the front end when you were talking about the unjust funding and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Feel free to jump in on that in terms of what you were seeing.
Oh yeah. So I saw the same thing in terms of positioning for the PPP loan, right? That is one of the things that showed who had their systems in place and who didn't. And when you think about it, when I look at building, implementing automation, and I'll step back in a minute and really define what automation is and everything. It's staying in a state of ready, no matter what happens. So this time it was an economic shift. So now it's like, oh, how do I capitalize on that? Some people, it could be some PR that they didn't anticipate that comes just like that. It doesn't take much for you to go viral in a way you anticipated or didn't anticipate. And usually people are not ready. I remember when I can't remember when this was. I think it was the election where the mittens that Bernie Sanders wore to the inauguration was like a big thing. And then they reached out to the lady who made them, and she was just like, hey, look, whoa, I don't want any of this. Like, I'm done. And I just thought, what if, like, that was her moment. She could not have orchestrated it better. She didn't know Bernie Sanders was going to come with those gloves, totally uncontrolled, but it brings all of this awareness, all of this traffic now, and all of this opportunity. And the question is, are you ready to take immediate advantage of such shifts and such awareness in the market to where you can say, yep, those are my gloves, and here you go. Here's how you check out. Matter of fact, you could buy 10 at a time. What you need a big order of 100. Here you go. Most businesses are not there, boys. They can do what I call calculated traffic. As long as traffic comes from a specific place that they already have in mind, they're good. And it usually looks like, hey, I do Facebook Lives, and occasionally I send some emails. So as long as people are attending the Facebook Lives and coming in through that way, they're all good. Any other exposure, any other opportunities, they can't make that shift. They can't easily take advantage of what the market is saying. Hey, there's an opportunity. They're just kind of stuck in that lane. So I saw that same dynamic when the economy shifted. And then you have all this funding available, and there were all kinds of software tools that were given months away for free, and nobody really knew how to navigate and build something quickly if they didn't already have something in place. So they were scrambling,
Wow. Everybody, I'm talking to Chris Davis, CEO and founder of Automation Bridge, and he's one of the world's leading experts on business automation. And if you could take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button. Also share this video with anybody who is trying to figure out, where money comes from, things like that. I'm sure if Chris was a rapper, there'd be 100,000 people in here. If he was a rapper, teaching them how to have extra babies, mamas, and how to smoke weed the right way. But unfortunately, when you're teaching how to make money, not as many people are interested. But those are the people that control the world. So I applaud all of you who are paying attention, because this is where the secrets are. And these are the people that I listen to. I listen to people like Chris. I listen to Lamar Tyler, who's a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
These are the guys that really get it in terms of understanding that the world has shifted. And I want to ask you this question, Chris. When did you start learning about business automation? How did you become so good?
Yeah, by pure accident, man. Pure accident. If we, pick up where I left off, I'm going to college and I'm just trying to graduate as an engineer. Very hard curriculum, so that really prevented me from, being an athlete or going out like that. I was more introverted anyway. And along the way, I started to show signs of entrepreneurship, right? I would modify Xboxes. So I put my chips in Xboxes so that people could put like unlimited amount of games on there. I taught myself how to cut hair. So I've got a barbershop on the weekend. People would literally be mailing me their Xbox, and I'm putting the mod chip in like $500. This was good money. I was in school from 2000 to 2005. So $500 in like an hour to put a mod chip in an Xbox. Listen, man, I was I was paid. So it helped and it served me well, because my now wife, when she was my girlfriend, I was able to take her out to beyond just McDonald's in college. I had like a baller's experience, right? But when I look back, those were signs of entrepreneurship that I never paid attention to. I never had anybody nurture that. So I'm still focused on the corporate path. So when I graduate when I graduate Kansas State University as an electrical engineer, I'm just trying to get a job, boys. I know nothing about business. A lot of times I think back and say, boy, if I'd have just systematized my hair cutting, my Xbox modding, and my computer setup. I would also set up computers. So all the freshman girls that came in, I would meet their parents and say, hey, I could set that computer up for you. So I got first dibs before anybody else. So I was strategic. I just hadn't turned it on business, right? So, but I was transacting. So the signs were there that I was familiar with strategy and business. Nobody never nurtured that in me. So when I graduate Kansas State, I'm just trying to get a job, boys. And I want to share with everybody this is a good community. They'll understand this. I've always been somebody that led with helping. Always. So when I went to college, I came from the inner city schools in Minneapolis, Southside Minneapolis. I was one of the smarter ones. I get to college, I'm easily one of the dumber ones, because I didn't go to a private school. I didn't learn like on that magnitude of education. So I remember that quick, I'm the smartest in the room to I'm the dumbest in the room, and trying to navigate that space. So in it, if I'm the dumbest in the room, I'm trying to figure it out, boys. I'm trying to figure out the curriculum and everything. And by my third year, I found my system of learning, and I started to catch up. Now, all of the people that I'm studying with are now learning off of me. I'm teaching them systematic ways to learn chemistry, electromagnetic theory, calculus 1, 2, 3, and 4, and differential equations. Everything I figured it out. It's a system. Hey, if you do this, this, and this way, it increases your chances of learning. So the reason why I bring this up is because at my first career fair, it was a guy, his name was Jason. I can't remember his last name. And I helped this dude pass it was differential equations, one of the hardest classes for an electrical engineer. Everybody knew it.
I know differential equations.
Right.
I took the class, I passed. I still don't understand anything that happened. It was all a blur. Go ahead.
Get through it and don't think about it ever again. And then right after that, I had to go into electromagnetic theory. So it was a combo, and nobody passed these classes, boys. I'm not exaggerating. So I figured out the system to pass it. I knew how to study, and I knew the questions to ask the teacher. I had the blueprint. So I helped this guy pass the class. He goes on and works for Texas Instruments. This is a white guy. The next year, he comes back and he's running the career fair, Texas Instruments. I'm like, ooh, Jason's here. I'm about to get me a job like immediately. I stay in line with my resume. I'm suited up and everything. I come into the line. I'm like, hey, Jason, here's my resume. He's like, hello, sir. And I'm like, oh, we're playing the whole sir. Okay, we're doing the professional thing. Boyce, he treated me like he never seen me before. Never.
Wow.
I helped this guy get the job that he had. He couldn't even show me the decency to say my name.
Damn.
And that shifted some things. And then I had a streak now of just being dismissed because Kansas State University is a predominantly white school. So they were literally hiring their own. So by the time Lockheed Martin called me, I'm desperate. I don't even care what number what number salary you're giving me. I just need a job at this point. That's where I was when I graduated. So I'm just kind of like, give me anything, I'll figure it out. So it was in Akron, Ohio. This was around the time LeBron James was coming into the league. No, I think this was before LeBron because I didn't know where Akron was. I was like, Akron, what's that? Never been out to Ohio, but it was the only job offer that I got. So I go out there and I'm working as an engineer for 7 years, man, 7 years. And I thought that this was the path. I went to school to be an engineer. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder, get one of those offices and with the window looking at absolutely nothing. And it just wasn't the case, man. I enjoyed that work maybe 2 years. I enjoyed the first 2 years. The last 5 were just hell for me. And when my wife got laid off because she was working as an engineer as well, that shocked my system. I said, wait a minute. Everybody told me, go be an engineer. You'll never be unemployed. Go do this. You'll always have a job. You'll always have a career. How she get let go? What just happened with wait a minute, pause.
Wow.
What just happened? Right? So now I feel like my life has been a lie up to this point. Not like aggressively against like my parents and everybody. I'm just like, no, the world is not what it said what it was. And that caused me to step outside of this sheltered, just tunnel vision view that I had in my career and start to explore other things. And the book that changed my life, my friend, she's an attorney and a good friend of ours. She gave me Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. That changed my trajectory. I had never seen anybody mention or never even seen it done in any capacity that you could work less hours in the day and make more. I was only trained to work your 40 and then over 40 hours, you get paid in a time and a half. And that's where the money's at. So I'm trying to get to the time and a half where this book is like, no, take that 0 off the 40 and just work 4. It blew my mind, that concept. But then he starts naming all of this technology that allows you to do it. And I remember hearing about Evernote and Dropbox. I'm like, what is this stuff? What is this book talking about? And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of me starting to learn. I found Pat Flynn, and this is when Pat Flynn was just getting started. I'm like, so he's writing words on the internet and somehow making money. But I remember being so confused for so long, boys. I could not figure it out. This is when blogspot.com, everybody had a blogspot.com and Tumblr. And this was at the tail end of Black Planet was fading away and Facebook is coming in. Like, I did not, the most tech savvy I got was configuring my Black Planet page. I was like, okay, I wrote a couple lines of code. My page stood out and I was getting some traffic, right? That's the closest I had done to any of this. So that traumatic event of my wife losing her job forced me into this world that I felt like, a guppy all over again. It's just these constant humbling experiences where you have to keep learning. Little did I know that I was stumbling upon something that was going to change the trajectory of my family and many, many businesses to come. So I stuck with it, boys. I stuck with it. I learned how to blog. I learned websites. I learned all the technical stuff. And when Lockheed Martin came around and said, okay, Black man, we're ready for you to get out of here too, I was prepared, but it still hurt. At that time, my youngest son, I have 3 kids. My youngest son was like just born, under 6 months. And how do I come home and tell my wife, you know what, we've been waiting for the day to get out of this corporate trap, but I didn't expect it to come the way that it did. And it happened in the worst way possible. They actually tried to to persecute me and take me to jail in order to
Whoa.
sign a settlement so that I would not take any action against them or anything like that. I did not know. I was too young at the time to even read the papers and all that. So they played a bully ball with me legally and knocked me out. So I didn't get any money going out of the door. It's just me, my wife, and my children, and we're looking at it like, what's next? I had this excitement. Wow. Hey, this online thing is blowing up. Let's do the online thing. Hey, we're going to make it. They got these things called, at the time, they were calling landing pages, ATM pages. They're like, all you need is one ATM page and money just comes. So I'm thinking naively, all I have to do is learn how to build that page and we'll make money. We'll never have to go back to the corporate world. Well, I'm sure many people listening have know how this story ends. You learn how to build the page, they don't come, and neither does the money. And you're scratching your head like, what part did I miss? It's kind of like painting by the numbers. Nope, I got all the right colors. Why does my picture not look like the box? I literally everything.
I think I saw a South Park episode like that. It was an episode about what they call the underpants gnomes, and these little gnomes that lived underground, and they would steal everybody's underwear. And they said, why do you steal everybody? Why do you steal people's underwear? They said, because that we make profit. And they said, well, how do you make the profit from stealing people's underwear? And the guy pulls out a whiteboard and he draws a gnome. He says, gnome sneaks in, steals underwear, and then gets profit. that was it. That was the whole explanation. And he said, now do you understand? That's how sometimes we enter into business. It's like, okay, well, if I just build it, then people are going to come and money will magically fall out of the sky. And I think, and it's not anybody's fault, because that's that we're kind of sort of introduced to that ridiculous magic formula as children. Like, you show up to work, you do your job, and then money will just magically appear. And I think not understanding that revenue generating process, like, what does that mean? No, somebody had to go out here and make a sale. Some other process had to occur for the money to happen. But you think about it. If I go to Hollywood and I become an actor, and I think, oh, well, if I'm acting in a big movie and I'm famous, money will just appear, right? Yeah. Well, no, there's a whole distribution process, monetization, all that stuff happens behind the scenes. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to be very confused.
Absolutely. And I had no clue. I had no clue. I had no business acumen, no business savvy, no entrepreneurship in my family. Someone to say, hey, look, that's just the beginning, bro. Like, it's some more steps to it. So as I'm learning the hard way, I'm also in this terrible mindset that I'm listening to all of these entrepreneurs saying, you got to be willing to grind, no sleep. I remember a time where I had to lose my car. Are you willing to get your car repossessed for this success? And I'm thinking to myself, man, to be successful, you got to be willing to lose it all. Right? Like, boy, I look back, it's hilarious now, but it was terrifying. I've got a wife and 3 kids. Like, and by the way, everybody, I don't have a wife. I have a black woman, like a strong black woman. So you already know what I'm coming home to. She was only going to tolerate so many ideas. I'm coming home with new ideas every day. Babe, I think we could do this. In the beginning, she's like, really? All right, great. Money start getting a little thin, and we got to go to Aldi's instead of buying like the official cereal brand. And I come with an idea. She's like, okay, all right. And I'm like, okay, hold on. What do I do? Right. And again, I got babies. I'm trying to be the father, the leader. I still need to be all of those things. I'm not giving myself an excuse and be like, hey, look, hard times. So, this is what happened. You got to get on wealth. I just, that wasn't the vision. You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't going to happen.
You know what I'm saying? So now
I know his wife, y'all. She ain't going to play that.
Listen, if they only knew, I believe I am crafted for her. I could take her wrath. Because anybody else would have been just like this and ran away. Like, she's mean. Look at but I could handle it. And the truth is, that was my fuel, boys. That became my fuel, not to like, I'll prove her wrong. No, like, I'm going to provide for her. I'm going to make this right. And I stayed on the path far too long. I'm feeling the pressure from her, but I'm still too ignorant. So I get to a point where all our money is gone. And in my foolishness, I'm thinking, great, all the formulas for success. I've grinded for years. I've woke up early. I've lost all my money. I've built this ATM page. Like, success, I'm ready. Come on, I've done all of the things, right? And and that's when I realized, you know what? I was reading a book, I think it was by T. Harv Eker, the Millionaire Mindset or something like that. And he says, if you're doing everything you know to do and it's not working, there's something you don't know.
Mm.
And I said, there's something I'm missing. There is clearly something I'm missing. And what happened was, and these are important pieces because this is going to help everybody understand how I got to where I'm at. What happened was I became a master technician, Boyce. That engineering mind, I was able to go into this technological landscape and learn how to do anything online with any software, build websites, membership sites, community forums, back when community forums were the thing. I knew how to do it all. And I thought that because I could perform, people would just pay me. And it was like, no, there's a whole marketing process involved. There's a whole positioning and messaging. There's a transaction cycle that you have to walk people through. Yes. So my language was super techie. I'm telling them, hey, yes, I'll set up WordPress and we'll have a functions PHP file that'll be able to hook certain modules and locations. I'm saying this to a CEO and they're just like, so is my website going to be up or what? I'm just like totally unaligned. Yep. And so these are all learning processes for me. And what happened was I was what I call tech heavy and strategy light. I knew all the technology, had no strategy for my business or for my life. So I acknowledge this. And I think for entrepreneurs, I think we don't acknowledge our shortcomings and our weaknesses faster so that we could shore them up. Not necessarily like improve them ourselves and be the best person ever, but some of those weaknesses, you need to reach out for help, right? Some of those areas, you need to sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm doing really terrible handling this. And I had that moment. I said, you know what? I'm not a CEO right now. A CEO doesn't drive their personal account into the negative with some hopes and aspiration. And I'll never forget my spiritual father and mentor. He called me because he heard I was depressed. My wife called him. She's like, look, you need to talk to him. Something's wrong with this man. And I don't know how much more I'm going to take. So he flies me out to Arkansas. And he says, so son, how's the business? I said, well, it's any moment now, right? And he says, how much money are you making? I said, well, I'm not making money yet, but it's coming, right? And he stops the car and looks at me, he says, well, son, that's not a business. That's a hobby. And then he just keeps driving. Like I shrunk so bad. I needed to hear it, but at that time I felt so worthless. Like I felt so bad after that. When we went back to his house, I didn't even sleep on the bed. I said, I'm not even worthy of a bed. I'll just sleep on the floor. Right? I was really down on myself. And I don't know if this is resonating with somebody who's just tried all that they knew how to do, watched everybody else do it. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work. So I'll shorten this story. It's a good story, but I'll shorten it for everybody so we can move on. So I swallowed my pride and said, you know what? I'm gonna go back into the workforce. I hate it, but I'm gonna do it. And I ended up doing some contracting work for Wells Fargo. But in the process, boys, this is the importance of never losing sight, never losing hold of your vision. In the process, there was a startup. There was like a meetup with a bunch of startups. I didn't know what a startup was, but I was like, these are tech companies. I'm really good at tech. Maybe I can help. So I remember registering for one locally and then totally forgot about it. So I start this job. I start contracting with Wells Fargo as a UI specialist. So I'm just taking my website knowledge and like trying to help this corporation redesign their terrible back-end intranet. And time goes on, I end up being really good. It was a 3-month contract and they wanted to extend it to 6 months. And I was like, I don't really, can we stay? No, it was a 6-month contract. And in 3 months, they wanted me to come on full time. So what I was telling them is, hey, can we just like do the full 6 months? Cause I just needed some money in the moment. Cause again, at any moment I'll get back in the game. So I taught myself. That's when Infusionsoft came. I don't know if people are familiar with Infusionsoft. It's a marketing and sales automation and CRM platform. And I learned that everybody was confused about it. So I picked it up quick. you know, and I started to offer those services. Now I go from offering like $500 for a website. People are paying me like $2,000, $5,000 to use Infusionsoft
Oh, wow.
while I'm at Wells Fargo. So I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm on to something here. So I did not want to extend my contract at Wells Fargo. However, I could not go back home to my wife with another idea. I could not go back home saying, I figured it out. Infusionsoft is gonna get. I couldn't do it, boys. All my coins, I lost them all. There's nothing else to put in the slot and try to win. I knew it. I would not come home to this black queen and be like, hey, look, one more idea. So I was doing it, but I was doing it very reservedly. And we have the conversation. I'll never forget. She drops me off because we're down to one car at the time. She drops me off. I go in and they say, well, Chris, if we can't have you full time, we don't want you at all. So this will be the last day. And immediately I'm right back to where I was. It felt so terrible, but it felt a little different because I felt like I figured something out. As I'm leaving, depressed again, a little down on myself. So I didn't even call my wife to pick me up. I walked home. It had to be at least 10 miles. I just walked. By the time I got home, she thought I worked a full day. Wow. I was just like, you know what? I didn't, but you know, I wasn't going to call you to come get me. I didn't deserve to be picked up, blah, blah, blah. And then I get an email while I'm walking. This was, you know, they let me go on a Tuesday. And then that following Friday was the startup meeting that I registered for. Well, I go to the startup meeting and that's where I meet Clay Collins, who at the time was the CEO of Lead Pages. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know that software. That's the software everybody's talking about to build these ATM pages. Who would have thought like he's right. Boyce, I'm thinking to myself, there is no way I'm letting this man leave this room without me talking to him like one-on-one. So here comes the strategy piece. I observe the room. There's only one entry and one exit. Everybody floods him after he does his speaking engagement. And I'm thinking there's no way I can compete with them. Everybody's all suited and booted. They look all professional. Here I am with a t-shirt and some jeans because this is literally all I could afford at the time. Wow. So I'm like, well, he's got to come out this door at some point. So I go and post up at the exit. Sure enough, he comes out ready to go. Nobody's around him. It's just him and I. I say, hey, Clay, I'm Chris. Listen, your Lead Pages, I know everything that you do. I do marketing automation. That's what I do. He was like, really? He said, do you know how to use Infusionsoft? I said, absolutely. He was like, in your local? I said, absolutely. And he was like, and you're available? I said, absolutely. So now I'm like, just say the magic words because I still cannot face my wife without something tangible. And long story short, he ends up hiring me that day. I drove out to Lead Pages. There's a lot more into that story, how I ran out of gas, how to jump on the bus and catch the bus out there and everything else. But I go there and that changed the game.
Hold on. You said you ran out of gas to going where?
Now, you know, maybe we're family here. We all know that there's different levels of E, right? There's like you're on E. And then it's like the light's on, and then it's the third level. How long has the light been on?
Right. How many miles can I continue before?
So I was on the third level. How long has the light been on? And I realized I lost track. I'm like, surely I have enough gas to get there. Because he was like, after that, he was like, hey, can you meet me in my office? I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you in your office. I get about halfway there, and I'm like, okay, this is what running out of gas is like. So I have to scrounge up some change and I jump on the bus for the rest of the way there. I show up, I'm sweating because I'm running because the bus did not drop me off close. So I had to run there and I'm trying to hurry up and knock off my sweat so it doesn't look like I've been, you know, panicking trying to get here. But I made it there, caught the bus back, borrowed some money, got the car, put like $5 of gas in it, got back up. It was a whole thing, right? But that experience changed the game for me, everybody. What it did was it introduced me to, if you took my technical mind and my systems approach to a business that needed a marketing and sales systems in place to scale, what would happen? And within 3 years, I'd helped them raise $37 million. And I look back on it, it was so foolish because for my part, it's because I approached that as a employee. Just get a job and get paid. That's it. So as I'm building out, we were using Infusionsoft at the time, everybody. So this was back before ClickFunnels. So before ClickFunnels, Lead Pages was the only landing page software like this. So I'm building out Infusionsoft sequences, funnels, automation campaigns in the marketing automation campaigns. And I'd never looked up and saw that the work that I was doing was like a one-to-one to them making money. So within my first 6 months, Lead Pages had their first $1 million month as a SaaS company. So they're celebrating. Again, I don't know to celebrate with them because I'm just the, like the engineer in the back room clicking buttons like I've been my whole life. And at Lockheed Martin, it was, I feel like it was like a form of mental abuse. They used to just, if you were smart, black, and in that space, they wanted to beat you down and make you feel like you were dumb. So I was just used to like not being seen, not being valued. I'm in the back. And after about 2 years, I looked up and I said, wait a minute. I think I've helped this company make $37 million. Like I've had a heavy hand in this. And then I looked at my paycheck. I said, my paycheck doesn't reflect
it wasn't a $37 million paycheck.
Not even close. Not even close. So at that time, when I started Lead Pages, I just needed some money. I needed to provide for my family. I needed to do something. By the end of Lead Pages, I had kind of found myself in this new space. And I said, wait a minute, this is a funnel. I know how to build a funnel. Like this is what they've been talking about. And the flip side is I got to see all of these internet marketers back in just broken and non-existent. I mean, some of the people follow right now, you will be amazed at how much money they're not making. And how effective their marketing is not. It shocked my system. I was like, oh my goodness, everybody's lying online. Nobody knows what to do. Literally, everybody who was saying, oh, we run ads, oh, we do this. I was the one building out the funnels for them, and they couldn't get 10, 15, 30 people to show up. Couldn't convert. I was like, so that changed the game too. So I realized I just figured out how to do something not even these millionaires know how to do. It's a shot in the dark if you get it right, and many people don't get it right. So at that point, that's what I'm saying. I kind of found myself and I had some new confidence. So I go back like, hey man, what's going on with my paycheck? Where's my zeros, XYZ. And for whatever reason, we couldn't reach an agreement. So I started to put feelers out there. And at this point, I'd done something admirable. So Active Campaign, which is another marketing automation company for sales and marketing. They send emails, have a CRM, things of that nature. They see the fillers and the CEO reaches out to me personally. And now I'm getting used to CEOs reaching out to me and calling me, bypassing HR, all of this, right? I'm like, hold on, I think I may be somebody, right? Like, hold on. But I'm still in a position of employment. So that, you're only somebody so far. Long story short, the CEO ends up flying me out to Chicago, putting me in a 5-star hotel, flying my family out, putting us in a hotel, renting out like a whole floor of the hotel with vending machines that didn't need money. So my kids are going to the vending machine, just hitting button, candy just coming out. Like he did a great job, like wooing me into the position. So I come into the position at Active Campaign out here in Chicago. That's what brought me out here. And my vision was this. I learned a secret at Lead Pages. Let me apply this approach to funnels beyond, because at the time, Lead Pages just had information and info products. That was really the main clientele. I said, but I believe what I did can work across a variety of industries. Active Campaign provided me with a diverse portfolio of all types of businesses. So my strategy was go there and apply my framework, tighten up my framework on all. It was free practice, boys. Where else are you just going to get hundreds and thousands of businesses full access where you can just kind of dissect what they're doing wrong, propose your framework and see it work? And it did that. So I'm at Active Campaign. I'm the director of education. I built out this entire education department, which allowed me full access to all of the accounts, all of the people's businesses. So now I can come in and I tightened up my framework, and it was great. Maybe some people on here have recognized me from the videos in Active Campaign. I built out the education system, started their podcast. I did training. We ran workshops in every major city in the US. I've trained in Brazil in a foreign tongue. They gave me a headset and translated while I was talking. So I got really good at explaining how to leverage automation. Specifically marketing automation for your business. If I could explain it to a Brazilian who doesn't speak English and I don't understand them, and at the end of my presentation, everybody's standing up clapping, I said, oh yeah, I got it. I got the juice now. So at that point, I knew it. I knew
okay,
I
Tupac.
had it. Right?
Oh, wait. It wasn't Tupac. It was the other one. But
it was
either
Bishop.
way, I'm going to call you Tupac. Or Tupac. I love it. And by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Chris Davis. Chris Davis is the CEO and founder of Automation Bridge, and he's a brilliant brother, as you could tell. And he's been my friend for a while. I did not know. Yes. I did not know that. I kind of knew, but I did not know how great of a storyteller he is, because I'm just sitting here cracking up. I did not plan to do all this laughing. So I predict that when Chris becomes a billionaire, they're gonna make a big movie about his life, and they're gonna show some guy running to the bus stop for a job interview and sweating. It'd be like that Will Smith movie, Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. With a briefcase.
Funny haircut. But yeah, so by the way, so Chris is actually joining us in the Black Business School, and he's going to come in and actually join us in class next Tuesday and do a deeper dive into business automation and really talk more deeply specifically about this topic. So if you want to be invited, all you got to do is just get on the email list. You can go to allblackeconomics.com. You get a free copy of my book, and you'll be on the list. So you'll get the email when I send out the link to the Zoom. We're going to do this Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, at the same time that the Black Stock Market Program meets. So those of you that are in the Black Stock Market Program, it'll be Chris's day. I'm going to step to the side, let Chris kind of do his thing with automation. So if you'd like to join us, just go to allblackeconomics.com. And also you can be invited if you're in the Black Keys to Greatness program, which is also free, blackkeystogreatness.com. So feel free to go to either one of those, and you can not just get free access to the life class and everything, but you can get access to what we're going to do on Tuesday. Okay. So make sure you sign up for that, because I'm telling you, this brother's good. And I believe deeply in what he does, because these are the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, in terms of if you want to know why the Zuckerbergs and people like that are doing so well and their income has just accelerated. It's because of things like automation. I mean, you can't work hard enough to make that kind of money. You have to have
absolutely
systems. So let me ask you about this, Chris, man. I want to ask you about I put together a model that I was sharing with parents on what they should do with their kids to put them in a position to really make money in the future. And basically the model was the word sturdy, except I replaced the U with an E. So that way I can, I guess, maybe get a trademark on it at some point or something. But the sturdy model basically is spelled STERDY, just like sturdy, except with an E. And the S stands for, these are the things you should teach your child if you want your child to understand how to make money at a high level, particularly your children that are going to go into engineering or the sciences or anything related to that. The S stands for systems. Systems can always work harder than a person. So systems over labor. Every day of the week. So teach your kids how to operate within systems, develop systems. T stands for technology. The people that know technology are the ones who are making the money right now. People who don't understand technology are really getting left behind. It's like trying to be a sprinter competing with somebody who's in a car, right? The fastest sprinter on earth cannot outrun a fat person in a raggedy car. Right. You can put an obese person in a 1982 Toyota Corolla and they will still be able to outrun Usain Bolt. Right. So the T stands for technology. Your kids got to know technology. The E stands for entrepreneurship. You just talked about how thinking more entrepreneurially opened up the floodgates. Right. That got rid of your salary cap. Right. Before, as an employee, you got a salary cap. You make as much as the boss decides you're going to make. Your boss is your economic god. Because they get to decide if they want to bless you or not. Right. But as an entrepreneur, you cut the salary cap off, which means that you have an opportunity to get a bigger piece of the pie. The R stands for relationships. People who have healthy relationships do well financially because you can build circles of people around you that are doing well also. So case in point, real life example. Me and Chris are cool. Chris is my buddy. Our wives are cool. Our wives both run businesses. They help each other out. In fact, your wife was just at the house the other day because we were like, we want to be clients. Your wife actually does great work, right, with her business. And one day I'm gonna have her in here too. Our kids play together. right?
Yeah.
This would not occur if Chris was an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Or if my wife was a bitch, like it wouldn't work, right?
Yep.
So being nice to other people, developing healthy relationships with healthy Black people, that should be part of your wealth building strategy. Don't just think of it as something you're doing socially. The social must connect to the economic, because when you are connected together socially, it allows you to build together, help each other out, have each other's back. And that gives you the security that you're seeking, because a lot of Black folks out here, just lone rangers trying to do it by themselves. I'm the only one. And it's stressful when you're in that situation. The last part, the D stands for delegation. If you have a team of people and you have good relationships with those people on that team, you can delegate tasks to other people, which keeps you from having to do all the work. Right. So just keep that in mind, that delegation piece allows you to go from working, 40 hours a week to working 4,000 hours a week, because then you have team members that can help you. So teach your kids to be sturdy children. And I guarantee you that they're not going to be out here in all this struggle. They're not going to be out here talking about like, oh, it's so hard to make money. Some of your children are going to be millionaires just by applying a model like this. So Chris, let me ask before we bounce out. I've been really entertained, man. I can't wait till next Tuesday because you're gonna do. I know you're gonna do an amazing job, and this has been really fun. Tell us about Automation Bridge, and where can people go to find Automation Bridge?
Absolutely. So Automation Bridge is my company. It was birthed out of my many attempts to be significant in somebody else's plan for my life. Whether it was Lead Pages, Active Campaign, and a plethora of other startups that I've helped them amass millions of dollars, and I've walked away with maybe thousands. It was like, you know what? I'm changing the game, changing the narrative. I'm taking it under. I'll do my own thing, right? So Automation Bridge is where I educate on marketing automation, as well as provide free resources and training for those of you who have that technical mind like I had, but haven't yet connected it with the marketing strategy. If I can get the technical minded folks to get the strategy together, now we can do what you just said, the S and the T. The S and the T of the sturdy, we can have systems and technology and put those systems in place for small businesses and start seeing some real change in our communities, boys. So that's what Automation Bridge is. That's what it's dedicated to. It's automationbridge.com. You can go there. If you want to jump on a free resource that I have, it's my 5-point automation checklist. I have that as well. It's automationbridge.com/BBS for Black Business School. You can grab that. But the key is this, everybody. In preparation for our time on Tuesday, please make sure where were they supposed to go, Boyce, again, to get on the list to join and get your book?
Oh, well, they can go to allblackeconomics.com.
There we go. Or please go to allblackeconomics.com. Get on the list. I want to pick up where I started off with you all and show you in our time together the exact steps of how you architect a profitable pathway online. I call it a profit pathway because sales funnels kind of got this jargon and this, anchor to it. When people think of a sales funnel, they think of a particular thing. But no matter what business you're in, I want to help you understand, how can I build a pathway from somebody who knows nothing about me but's interested to someone who loves my product and tells the world about it. There's a proven framework that I've used, and it's I'm not going to say it's simple. It's straightforward. It's straightforward once you know how to do it. So I want to talk about the mechanics behind that and help everybody understand just exactly what it takes to have a profitable presence online that works for you while you're working. Many of you are probably on jobs, or you may have a company and want to start a second company. You're going to need automated processes in play for your marketing and sales to be able to grow that thing until you can dedicate more time and resources to it.
All right. And so everybody, this is Chris Davis, CEO and founder of Automation Bridge. If you want to go get the free resource, you can go to automationbridge.com/BBS. And that's just a special offer for Black Business School students and those who may not be students yet. But I hope one day you'll give the Black Business School a try. And also, once you make sure you're on the email list, I will send out the invitation for the thing we're going to do on Tuesday. as you can tell, Chris is not just brilliant at what he does. He also is entertaining to listen to. So, so if you want some real good edutainment, come join us on Tuesday. On that day, we're going to open up the floodgates, let anybody come to class and wants to come. But you got to get on the email list. That's where we're going to send the link to. So get on the list at allblackeconomics.com. Or you can also get on a blackkeystogreatness.com if you want access to the life class. So we have a lot of stuff available to you, and we want to see you make the right moves for your family. I'm telling you, it's a great journey when you have help, when you have good people in your circle. And I'll be clear on this, that the big reason I was happy to have Chris here is because not just because he knows his stuff, but he's a good dude. It's cool to I mean, when you're black out here, it's sometimes it's hard, like especially black men, like I mean, I know a lot of brothers get fired. They get fired on their day off, and what I'm talking about. Like,
Yep.
we had a lot of the same struggles. And in fact, I should tell everybody the funny way that we met. Lamar, you were in Atlanta with Lamar Tyler, who we both just love and admire. Him and Ronnie, just wonderful, amazing people, traffic, sales, and profit. And y'all were getting on the plane, or actually getting out of the car to go get on the plane. And me and Alicia walked by, and Lamar was like, "Oh, here's Chris and Talana." And we met each other. So we started walking in the airport and thinking that we're going in separate directions, but we kept going in the same direction. And so we're like, "Oh, okay, so you flying the same airline, nice." And then it's like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're going to Chicago too, O'Hare? Oh, really? Well, where do you live?" It turns out that they live 15 to 20 minutes from our house. Like you could have lived anywhere in the country.
Anywhere.
You didn't know if y'all lived in LA or Louisiana. You happen to live 20 minutes from the house. And we've been friends ever since. And so I'm telling everybody in here, if you really want to figure things out, like find your people and find good people. And it's a great journey at that point. So I want to say thanks, man. It was great to talk to you again, brother.
Thanks for having me. And what I would say to your listeners is, I'm a regular guy, just like you are. I had struggles, had to overcome. As you see, there was no paved path, but keep the faith. Make sure that you do your due diligence and listen to people who know what they're talking about. Vet me. Go check out my credentials. They speak for themselves. Find me on LinkedIn. You'll see all of the recommendations. There is not a negative word out there on me because I've done this. I've proven it time and time again. And I'm a trusted resource, and I'm privileged to be able to give to the community what I found out here in the startup space. I stumbled upon it. I've been in rooms where they're making these big multi-million-dollar deals, and I know what they look for in companies. I know how to scale companies. There are people right now, startups right now, trying to hire me. They will not take no for an answer. And I've been working with Boyce on this, telling them, no, not right now. They're like, Chris, what can we do? I'm telling you all, what I'm about to show you on Tuesday, you're not going to easily find anywhere in the marketplace. And if you do find something close to it, it's going to be from a resource that I would say you can't trust. So this is really unique, and I'm glad to be in a position like this. I feel like my whole life's work has positioned me for this. And it feels good to be able to bring it back home to our people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I encourage everybody to take a look at this, and I'm glad you're sharing this because I want everybody to know that that's what happens. You just stumble across this whole other world, and you find mostly white guys that are just doing things that in a different way. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, nobody told me about any of this. So, and by the way, somebody said that they tried to sign up, and it says it keeps saying enter a better email. I don't know. I tried it out. It seemed to work for me. So but either way, though, if you can't get in that way, you can come to the Tuesday thing, which you can sign up at blackkeystogreatness.com to come to the Tuesday conversation. He's going to do a whole presentation on it. But also try it again. Try a different email address.
It may be doing some validation, and maybe there's a typo in the email, something like that.
Yeah. He tests all the systems. Remember, he's an engineer, so he tests all of that. So
Right.
so God bless everybody. Thank you for hanging out. And Chris, you can stay on the line, man. After we go,
Okay.
so that way you and I can say goodbye. But I want to say thank you all for hanging out with us. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button, and if this knowledge helps anybody in your family or anybody that you know on Facebook or anywhere, share this video because this is I say this humbly, but we are your college professors. We are the ones that can really show you these things in terms of, where the opportunities are. I don't really know if those expensive, overpriced universities can do a very good job. Not to dismiss them. I taught at those universities, but I can tell you that when it comes to the Black experience and the Black wealth building process, there's specifics that they don't necessarily address that well. And our goal is to fill that void. So take care, everybody. Please have a wonderful day. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Peace.